The hunger train has no brakes, motherfucker! So before now, the only time I'd ever use the phrase Hunger Games is when I was playing with my dog. And as my dog quickly learned, if you want to eat, you don't drop the ball. But now The Hunger Games is also a movie based on a book based on dropping the ball. To put this in perspective, let's say I tell you that there is a movie about children forced to kill each other in a gladiatorial arena. And this movie is called The Hunger Games. Okay, now before you get too excited, please allow a brief moment of silence for the ceremonial first dropping of the ball. This movie has nothing to do with cannibalism. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage has been set. Let's get underway, shall we? So the movie starts off with an albino pygmy child crying over nothing. Luckily, a human girl is there to coo the creature back into its slumber. Human girl is what this movie is about, and her name is Katniss, which is an adjective meaning of or pertaining to cat. So Catosity does a bow and arrows and talks to a Studley boy, but then a UFO carrying Nazis comes. But they're only like part-time Nazis, and they don't really kill anybody. They're not given the budget or the hours to do the whole concentration camps thing. Everybody's just kind of used to them by now. It's like paying taxes for them. Just once a year you gotta deal with the Nazis. So Cat-tacular and friends go to the Nazi assembly, but then the Progerian child starts crying for no reason again. Afterwards, they go inside and stand at attention as a blueberry monster waddles forth from the darkness. The beast shrieks in a shrill and obnoxious dialect, completely indecipherable as human speech, then projects an exposition. Apparently, the plum beast hails from a race which used to be human. They rounded up all the humans and put them into districts. But then the humans did a rebellion because fuck that noise. Luckily, the fruit mutants and the Nazis were best of friends. And with neither the Jew hatred nor antioxidants to fuel them, the humans lost the war. To prevent future rebellions, the Tart Council devised this plan. Every year they are to hold a game show. They will select one boy and one girl at random from each district to fight to the death. The winner will be lavished in all natural flavoring until they ascend to fruitliness. And thus the cycle begins anew. So let me get this straight. Professor Plum and her ilk want to stop people from rebelling, and they plan on doing this by creating a scenario wherein everybody is on edge and prepared to fight to the death. The phrase fucking dumb gets thrown around a lot, mostly by me, but that is fucking dumb. Fuck it, whatever. Wildberry Blue demands blood, and the sacrifice jar dictates that Catler's frail hemophiliac sister be the offering. Oh god, yes. But then Catropy jumps in and volunteers in her place. Unfortunately, the crying will continue. And for the boy human, there's some asshole called PETA who throwed a bread at Cat-ular one time. So then they go on a train and meet the guy who's supposed to teach them how to something. Anyway, shows up drunk and then leaves drunk because they're mad because he's drunk. And then people for the ethical treatment of anuses decides to go after him because they need him for some reason. And then he's all, the way what you win the Hunger Games is you get people to like you. People. And this is all going to be a very big problem for you in particular, Catpocalypse, because people watching you are going to think you're very boring and hate you. Sir, I have an inquiry for you. Does it make you feel big? Huh? Saying the thing that you already know we're all thinking? I am on this stupid ride for another hour and 20 minutes, and I'd rather not be reminded of how bad of a fucking time I'm gonna have! So then the train finally gets to the Plum Pixie's home planet, and oh man. You know when dumb assholes like Glenn Beck go off about things like the gay agenda? Okay, let's pretend for a second that's a real thing. I'm talking full-on homo-geddon. Fabulously built from cotton candy man jobs and the crushed dreams of Jesus. That's about half as gay as the Tart Fairy homeworld. It's like all the straight people were rounded up and put into districts where they— son of a bitch, I could have been working that angle. So a sharply dressed black twink wearing makeup shows up and he's like, girl, I have the perfect dress for you. You are going to look absolutely fierce. Rawr. But given what you've had to compare him to, at that point you're probably going, yeah, I could see that guy doing sex in a vagina. So then they go into murder training, and people for the extreme torture of the audience falls off of a rope, and Catism is like,
everyone's gonna think you're a bitch. Throw that thing.
So he throws the thing, and then it hits another thing? Was that supposed to be good, or? Hey, yo, don't worry about it. He's got other talents. He can paint himself like a tree because he was decorating cakes all the time. Okay, just fucking— they're catching squirrels for food, and bread is a valuable resource. And yet somehow this pansy still finds a way to decorate cakes. One of the other districts has people train and then volunteer for this thing. And they're like the bad guys because they win every time. How despicable of them to fucking think. And that aside, you mean to tell me that in a district full of oppressed miserable, angry people, you can't find one person harboring an urge to kill. No, that's fine. Drag out the guy that decorates cakes. So Katso shoots a pig apple, and then they do an America's Next Top Model thing, and then people for the goddamn it, do you get the joke yet? Is like, I have a crush on this girl. And then the drunk guy is like, see, this is the only way we can get people to like you people. For you see, idiots love forced trite romance. Okay, I'll give you that one. You did one thing right. The ball's actually in your hand right now. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't trust you to keep it there at all. Fuck my ass, can we watch people kill each other, please? So finally, the thing that the movie's supposed to be about starts. But then Catatonic immediately runs away from it and takes us with her. Great. There is this part with like a curly-haired, apple-cheeked 10-year-old, and the big buff guy just fucking chops him up. And then the movie plays backwards, and then it happens again. Like 6 times. What? So then Cat-esque is boring for a while, so they shoot fire at her, and then she's boring, but she got lit on fire, and then bad guys almost show up, but then she boringly climbs a tree, and then a little girl shows her that there are bees, so she drops bees, and then bad guy girl who has bow and arrow dies of bees, and then Cadian has bow and arrow, and little girl is like,
You're not going to hurt me, right?
at which point she should have put like 10 arrows in her. Teaming up with little girl to be boring for like 20 more minutes is literally the worst decision she could have made. It's a deathmatch, idiot. It's not a time to make friends. She's either gonna end up weighing it down or turning on you as soon as she has the chance. Luckily, some guy valiantly saves Cattish from an opportune stabbing in her sleep by spearing little girl. Catlicious ungratefully responds by arrowing him. Then Catterick is doing totally useful fight for survival things like making a flower memorial. Announcement says,
If you're from the same thing, you don't have to kill each other. Okay, bye.
So then Caticity finds Peta, and he cake decorated like a tree. Then they go in a cave and pretend kiss. And Studley Boy is not pleased. This is Boy Portent. Then Drunk Guy smiles and sends them soup. Wait, is that what he's for? The way it was explained seemed to imply that they had to put on a show so that the audience would like them. So wait, does every team just have an unsatisfied drunk guy that they have to appease? Anyway, then they go to gather food, and Peto is an idiot, so he gathers a bunch of poison berries. But then an even bigger idiot sneaks in and eats all the poison berries and kills herself. Seeing that their fruity friends are being devoured, the berry buddies decide it's CGI dog time. So they CGI dogs into existence, and the dogs attack their 2 greatest enemies, Catisms and PETA. So then they climb onto an indescript thing, and then bad guy showdown, yeah, whatever, who gives a shit. Catistic shoots him, he falls into dogs. But then announcer voice says,
Yeah, about that last announcement, we kind of decided that was a bad idea. Can you guys kill each other?
But then Catularity takes out the kill yourself berries, and she's like,
Eat them. Eat them with me.
So PETA agrees because he's a whipped bitch. But before they do it, the evil authoritarian government with literally nothing to lose if they die pussies out. Yeah, fucking, that's great. Putting aside the fact that there's about 1 trillion ways they could have forced them into a scenario where one of them would outlast the other one, they're supposed to be the fucking bad guys anyway. I know if I were in charge of a corrupt government of homosexual fruit Nazis, I would probably have better things to do than watch shitty movies like this.